Hey, welcome to our explainer. You know, in just about every company, there are two versions of the IT department. In one, they're the folks you call when your password gives up the ghost. But in the other, they're the secret weapon for real growth. So today, we're going to dig into how to make sure your organization is living that second story.
So let's just get right to it. Think about your own workplace for a second. Is your IT department a true strategic partner, sitting at the big table? Or are they pretty much just the help desk? Seriously, how you answer that question really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about.
Okay, so this brings us to the first big idea here, IT's completely new strategic role. I mean, we are seeing this huge shift happening. It's all driven by data, by being digital first, and IT is going from just a support function to becoming a real, honest-to-goodness engine for growth.
And the core idea? It's actually pretty simple. IT isn't just a line item on a budget anymore. You know, a cost center whose only job is to keep the lights on. Not at all. In today's world, a properly aligned IT department is a strategic asset. It's literally the key to unlocking innovation, finding new efficiencies, and building an actual competitive edge.
All right, so what do you actually get out of getting this alignment right? What are the rewards? We're not talking about small tweaks here. This stuff creates this incredible positive feedback loop that can totally transform how a business even operates. And what's really cool is how these benefits all feed into each other. So first up, alignment gives you this massive boost in efficiency. That's the biggest chunk of the pie right there, 40%. Now, that efficiency means you get better data. And what does better data lead to? Well, it enhances your decision-making across the entire company. And the end game of making smarter decisions? A way better customer experience. And that, of course, drives growth. You see, it's a perfect circle.
And that right there really gets to the heart of it. This whole thing isn't about just chasing the newest, shiniest tech trend. No way. It's about making sure that every single dollar invested, every new system, every single line of code is laser-focused on hitting a very specific business goal.
Now, of course, if this was all easy, every single company out there would be a perfect model of efficiency, right? But the reality is, there's often this great divide between the tech folks and the business folks. So let's break down the most common challenges that cause. And here's the biggest hurdle, right? It's like they're speaking different languages. The IT team, they're judged on things like technical efficiency, system uptime. Makes sense. But the business units, they're thinking about revenue, market share, customer happiness. Now, these goals aren't enemies, but they are fundamentally different dialects. And that communication gap, it just creates constant friction.
And that's really the key thing to get here. This isn't because of a lack of talent or because people aren't trying hard enough. It's a fundamental communication disconnect. It's what keeps these teams from ever truly getting on the same page. You know, that communication gap? It creates this whole domino effect. It's pretty predictable. When the goals don't line up, trust just disappears. And when there's no trust, teams naturally pull back into their own silos, hoarding information instead of sharing it. The end result of all that? Well, real collaboration becomes basically impossible. You can see how each roadblock just knocks over the next one.
Okay, so how do we actually fix this? The good news is there is a pretty clear blueprint for success. Let's walk through the practical steps you can take to bridge this gap.
The path to getting aligned really follows a logical set of steps. It all starts with understanding, with asking the question, where does the business actually want to go? Then you have to do an honest assessment. Okay, where are we right now? The difference between those two answers? Well, that's where you find the gaps. And those are the gaps you need to fill with very specific, practical solutions.
So how do you put those solutions into practice? Well, one of the most powerful strategies is to embrace what's called an agile mindset. And look, I know that can sound like just another corporate buzzword, but it's not. It's a totally different way of working that basically forces the IT and business teams to finally speak the same language. So instead of some massive multi-year project that nobody sees until it's done, the agile approach breaks the work down into small, manageable cycles. The key here is that the business folks are involved at every single step, giving constant feedback. This makes sure that IT is building what the business actually needs right now, not what they thought they needed a year ago. And the whole process just gets better and better with every cycle.
All right, the second key strategy. This one is less about process and much more about culture. It's all about creating a sense of shared ownership. It's about shifting away from that old client-vendor relationship to a real, genuine partnership.
So what does that kind of partnership actually look like in practice? Well, it means having shared goals. That means business leaders are actively in the loop on big IT decisions, and probably most important of all, it means joint accountability. When you succeed together. And when things go sideways, everyone owns it and learns from it as a team. The finger-pointing just stops.
So look, when you map it all out like this, you start to see a direct solution for every single problem we talked about. That communication gap, it gets bridged by the constant dialogue that's built right into Agile. Those misaligned goals, they get corrected when you build a shared vision together. And that lack of trust, that gets replaced by the joint accountability that can only come from true shared ownership.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical point. Getting aligned? It's not a one-time project you can just check off a list. To make this actually stick, you have to transform it from a temporary project into a permanent part of your company's culture. And you know what? That kind of change has to come from the very top. Leaders have to be the champions for this partnership, not just the people who sign off on it. They have to weave this idea into the very fabric of the organization. I'm talking from how projects are planned all the way to how people's performance is reviewed.
And this is the part that really never ends. Alignment isn't some finish line you cross. It's an ongoing process. Think about it. Markets change. Business goals evolve. Technology is always advancing. Staying in sync means you have to be constantly monitoring, constantly adapting, and constantly improving.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Your organization, it already has the talented people. It already has the data. The only real question left is it ready to unlock its full potential by finally bringing them together? Thanks for joining this explainer.